Hello, Jonty.
Hello, Charlotte.
How are you?
I'm okay, thank you. I was a bit flat earlier, but that's because my blood sugars rocketed. I don't know quite why that happened. Oh, I know why it happened. It happened because we had a buffet at lunchtime, and it was all rather nice.
Where did you
And
have the
I
buffet?
in the pub for the Cheltenham Cup, and
Ah,
I was quite happily eating away, thinking I was okay, and then an hour later, oops, daisy.
what, you grazed too much?
I couldn't help myself. I thought I used the correct amount of insulin, but I didn't.
You enjoy your food?
I like food. Yeah, food is nice. Yeah,
And I noticed that if
yeah.
your blood sugars are high, you get grumpy.
Yes, I was flat, and I was telling people I wasn't at my best, um, which is not what you want to do if you're front of house of a pub.
And you must notice when you're eating the wrong things.
Well, it was well. Yes, yeah, I shouldn't have done it.
No.
No, I shouldn't have done it, but I was hungry and it was nice.
But you've perked up.
I'm perking up. It's still a little bit high,
Are
but
you?
yeah, it's still a little bit high, but they are coming down.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
And how does that affect your sleep?
Um, Not brilliantly well. I mean, basically, sleep is very difficult sometimes. For example, last night I woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning, and that's partly the reason why I'm grumpy today.
What you because you woke up
Well,
once,
I woke up twice,
twice. Yeah.
um, and I was up until 4:30, and it's not my best today. A little bit of anxiety going on. I looked up anxiety on my
AI.
AI Basil, and lack of sleep causes anxiety, and anxiety causes lack of sleep. So, it's best to try and get it right, really.
And why did you wake up in the night? What was the wake?
Wide awake, basically. I'm not sure I was thinking about anything in particular, but it's possible. I mean, as I've been saying from some of the earlier podcasts, that I am manic depressive, and in March I pop out. So it's possible I'm getting slightly not manic, but kind of getting a little bit happier.
Or it could be that you just haven't got into a routine properly with the nightclub, with the pub,
Yeah.
and that your sleep pattern is kind of a little,
Yes.
there isn't
I mean,
to have a good night's sleep,
yeah,
you need to have a regular routine in
yeah,
place so that the
yeah.
body clock knows what it's doing.
That's right.
And whereas if you're not consistent with your evenings
No,
and what you're
no,
putting
that's
in your
right.
body as well, how you treat your body,
Yeah,
then you can, you're knocking it all over the place, aren't you?
yeah. I mean, it is difficult. I don't sleep brilliantly. Um, I sleep short periods of time and then wide awake, basically.
But what I have noticed is if you go away for the weekend
I sleep.
all night,
Yeah, yeah.
so that tells
It must
me
be anxiety, I think.
that yeah, it's your thoughts
Yeah, it's my thoughts.
and you're working,
Yeah, yeah. Well, there was a really interesting piece about that in the on the AI podcast.
what was that then?
I forgot what it was, but I did read it,
What was
and
interesting about
I can't remember.
it?
But go on AI, Perplexity, and talk to somebody on there, and they can tell you all about it.
Or you can ask a hypnotherapist
Yeah,
like me.
yeah.
So, so was it the fact that it's what you're talking about the cortisol?
Yeah, that was mentioned.
And the melatonin.
Yeah, they were mentioned. I mean, it's just very important to have a good night's sleep, really.
It is, and there's lots of people as they get older have more of a disruptive evening sleep,
Yeah, yeah,
and they put it just down to old age, but it's actually a
yeah,
combination of things. So it could be what you're feeding your body,
yeah.
what you're feeding your mind. So, like if you're scrolling on your phone at night time or watching television in bed, it's all that blue light. So we're supposed to not have electric, like watching
No, no,
films,
that's
playing
right.
on our phones, that kind of thing, an hour before bedtime, so that we're
No,
turning our
that's right.
brain
That's right.
ready for sleep, you're sort of winding down. And if you think about a children's routine, and most of us would have had a routine as when we were children and growing up for bedtime, we would have had a bath, would have been a nice relaxing
Yeah,
time,
yeah,
most probably a story or a little game, reading a book, and then some soft music, lack of stimulation, and then you'd go to sleep and you'd
yeah,
stay asleep for 8 hours at least. And when you woke up in
yeah.
the
That's what
morning,
you do. Yeah,
you'd be bright, full of energy,
yes,
raring to go for the day, as children are. But as we're adults, we might not be eating the right food. And if you're eating within the 4 hour period before bedtime,
yeah,
your body's is still working that food through,
yes,
and that can be disruptive for you. If you're not getting enough fresh air, whereas when you're children, you want to go out and play and everything. As adults, like, oh no, it's raining out, I don't want to go out, all that kind of stuff. Fresh air helps create the melatonin, which helps balance the cortisol. And having a balance of the melatonin and the cortisol gives ourselves a good night's sleep.
oh, very nice, very nice. But of course, if you're suffering from, I mean, I know that each podcast is different. I can cope stress, then you can be kept awake by that. I know that during the building site of the chapel, I was sleeping an hour on and an hour off. It just, I was so cortisoled up that it was just difficult.
And that's the thing is about managing everything, isn't it? But there would have been a stage before you got to that high level of stress that you didn't recognize. And so
Uh,
you just pushed and pushed and pushed.
yeah, I lived on my own and it was, just surviving basically. And yeah, that's what happened.
Hmm. I mean, obviously there's certain jobs where people do, and they do have to have a sleep pattern.
Yeah,
Like if you're a carer and you're doing sleep-ins, you're most probably not really sleeping properly because you're
no,
not in your own environment
no.
and it's part of your lifestyle. And if you're doing shift work, you'll have to maintain, making sure you're getting the right healthy foods, that when you can sleep, it's at
Yeah,
consistent hours and you're winding yourself down, not stimulating yourself.
I think also you can train yourself
Yeah.
to. I mean, someone correct me if I'm wrong, but a nuclear submarine commander is trained to sleep half an hour on, half an hour off. So in times of conflict, he's always at the helm, basically. That's what I was told.
But no, yeah, you're very right. And these things we can do, but can you do it for the whole of your life?
No, I don't want to do it for the whole of life. I'm not under a lot of I can cope at the moment. My life is starting to turn out nice. Um, but I don't know why I'm not sleeping properly. But the mania, the change in mood can alter my sleeping habits.
Yeah, because that'd be a change in the chemicals in the brain, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I'm just alert, basically, wide awake, and you know, fortunately, I've got certain sedatives which will deal with that, which I didn't have 10 years ago.
No, that's good. But there's things like suggestions like sleeping like a baby, having an imaginary sleeping potion. There's a hypnotherapy that I do that's on my What Is Your Story
Mm.
hypnotherapy YouTube, and that is where I describe a whole sleep shop. Everything there is designed for you.
Yeah.
And on the shelf could be your magic sleep potion. And I walk people through on how to have a
Yeah.
good night's sleep.
So,
And
mm.
yawning, oh,
Are you?
oh, yawning,
Yeah.
yawn.
No.
Yeah. If you
No.
yawn, that
Yeah.
activates the brain to let you know that it's time for
Okay.
sleep.
What I like, my favourite night sleep is to go to bed listening to classical music gently in the background.
Mm,
And I find that very relaxing and very nice. I
mm.
haven't done it for a very long time.
That's because it's the frequency, isn't it? It's calm and
Yeah,
relaxing.
yeah.
Um, so obviously having the right music, because heavy metal,
You
but obviously
know,
for somebody,
classical. Yeah,
no, but for
yeah,
somebody it might be, but it's finding that right frequency. Some people like going to sleep with the noise of a fan,
yeah,
or an air
yeah,
conditioner,
yeah,
or white noise. So something that's constant but low, a
yes,
low hum.
yeah. I mean, my father was a sailor, and he's sailed across the Atlantic to the Caribbean 5 times, and he'd regularly go catnapping at the helm for 3 days and then crash.
You mean crash to sleep, not crash the
Yeah,
boat.
no, don't crash the boat, but go just crash out for 10 hours or something. But I mean, I've done 3 days without sleep. I mean, in the old days before risperidone, I was manic all the time,
Oh,
and I wouldn't sleep at all. Well, I did sleep, but just not proper sleep ever. And why am I saying that?
I don't know.
No, I don't know why I'm saying that.
But I think when you're younger, though, you feel like you can get away with not a lot of sleep. And you can do that for a few nights. I mean, when it was like parties, like
Yeah, yeah,
weekend
yeah,
parties, my friends and I in the 90s, early 90s, you, we'd come home at 7 in the
yeah,
morning.
yeah, yeah. I've seen the sun come up in the cathedral close before.
I can imagine. I have as well. Uh,
It is what it is.
you think, oh, I'm just going to carry right on through. And then about 8 o'clock that next evening, your whole
Yeah,
body just goes, no, you're not, because we
no,
need the sleep to rest our body. It's a time where our cells renew, rebalance,
yeah, yeah.
rejuvenate. It helps our brain cells grow, relax. It is a time of rest and rejuvenation.
Well, when I ran the chapel for 10 years, we were open 4 nights of the week till 3 o'clock in the morning. And then by the time we'd finished, it would be 4 o'clock in the morning. And it was like permanently having jet lag.
Yeah, I can imagine. So, what was your sleep routine there then?
I'd have 2 hours in the afternoon and probably 3 or 4 in the evening, in the night. But the
Mm.
cats, I had 5 cats, and they'd wake me up at 7:30 every morning to have their food, and they didn't care what time I went to bed.
Didn't you feed them when you went to bed?
No,
That might have saved you.
it might have done. I never thought of that, but it was they used to Ponsonby used to put his paw into the duvet and scratch my feet, and Tiggy used to sit on my face until I woke up.
Oh,
Yeah, this is sweet.
yeah. Were you happy when they wake you up?
Yeah, I love my pussycats.
No, yeah, but you weren't grumpy when being woken up.
No, I mean I was. How old would I have been? I would have been in my 30s. You're invincible at that age.
Mm. Yeah, yeah. Well, that's the thing, isn't it? Cats, dogs, you think you're gonna have a good night's sleep and they can wake you up at half 4, 5 in the
Yeah,
morning.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I've got Houdini, who's the world's worst party guest, knocking over your drink, or my
Yeah,
drink,
he's all right.
at 3 or 4 in the morning when it's light, trying to get me up because he
No,
wants to be let out and
lovely.
fed. Yeah, yeah. But no, having a good night's sleep is really important to our health.
Oh, very much
If
so.
you're not feeling well, that's one thing that you need to do is, get some sleep to help your body heal. It's that rest and rejuvenation.
Yeah.
I've got a sleep program that's free to anybody to join. And it lasts 3 weeks. And I've had a really good success rate with that.
Hmm.
And one of the things that participants have fed back to me that they find really helpful is the phrase sleep like I did when I was a child,
Oh, very
because
nice.
it reminds them that actually, yes, I did have a good night's sleep at one time.
Yeah. Well, I'd sleep a lot better if I could clear my th head. But I've been so used to having things whizzing around in my head that I don't, they also whiz around while I'm asleep, according to Basil.
Basil is what Jonty's named his AI,
Yeah.
which is good. Perplexity doesn't mind.
No.
No. Did you know that I think it was about, well, over 150 years ago, we used to have two sleeps. I think it's before the Industrial Revolution. So before the 9 to 5
Yeah.
routine that we've got now, when we used to get up with the sunrise or rose and then go to sleep when it sets, and then we'd get up in the middle of the night for
Yeah.
about an hour and have conversations, midnight snacks,
Yeah. Yeah.
things like that. And then once your energy had wound down again, you go back to sleep for the second part. And it was called, oh, I'm just going back to the second sleep.
I think also during the First World War, that's when the routine of sleeping and working in the day happened.
What? Because of,
So it'd be interesting if somebody could tell us. But that's in my mind. There's munitions factories, keeping people turning up for work in the morning.
well, that's what yeah, that's what I mean. But I think it
Okay.
was a little bit earlier than the war.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it was more, the 9 to 5 once that got stabilized, as in,
Yeah.
factories, yeah, offices.
Yeah, I don't win
That's when
quizzes.
people.
I can't do the
Why?
quiz.
No, but with the sleep, I mean, sleep's so important, and a lot of us do take it for granted, and we don't want to make a change.
No, I feel so good if I get 8 hours sleep, but I just don't, I haven't had it for a while.
Yeah. So if I had a client last year that came in for, they kept flicking their eyes, as in that kept doing lots of blinking because of anxiety,
Mm.
and there was lots of other things. Once you start having a conversation, there's loads of other things that start happening. And they said that they would didn't had a terrible night's sleep and they'd wake up in the middle of the night and they'd start vaping.
Oh,
Now, the vaping stimulates the brain, so again, that's not going to help you go to sleep, and it stimulates stress, even though at the time you might feel a slight relief. So it's like, have the vape out of the bedroom. Ideally, have the
oh,
phone out of the bedroom as well. But I know we have our alarms and that, but just try and put it out of reach. Just start making little changes like the habit stacking.
oh, of course, the habits.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
changing little things, and it won't.
hippocampus and stuff.
Yeah, making
Yeah.
yeah, making little changes can really help embed the big change that you want.
Mm.
So by taking the vape out the bedroom, the phone away from you, maybe having a bath at night time after dinner, reading a book instead of being on the screens,
Mm.
just changing things down, turning the lights down a little bit lower, So allowing your brain to get ready, it's the time for bed.
Yeah.
All of these little steps can help. I've got a YouTube style sleep map on my website, and that can really help. So it can look at all the different things that you could change. You don't need to change everything at once, just change
No, no.
little things
A
to help
couple of
you.
puffs on the vape would be all right, wouldn't it?
You're being naughty, Jonty, now, aren't you? No. And don't fall asleep with a vape in your hand.
Yes.
So you're going to have a good night's sleep tonight, Jonty?
I think I will.
Yeah, that's
I think I
good.
will. I've got no, my head is not full of rubbish at the moment.
Good, good. That's it. It's knowing that you're in control of your thoughts, that you're in a safe place, you're
Yeah,
relaxed and
yeah,
calm. And there's so many benefits for a good night's sleep. And just imagine that you have your sleep potion, your magic sleep cream.
yeah,
And then you can imagine what it's like as a child to have a
yeah,
good night's sleep safely, calmly, all through the night. And imagine waking up in the morning.
yeah. Get there
Oh,
in the end.
yeah, with loads of energy and
Maybe we
happy.
could, if I don't have a good night's sleep tonight, maybe you could hypnotize me to have a good night's sleep.
I'll hypnotize you to have a
Yeah,
good night's sleep, Jonty. Yeah, definitely.
I haven't yet had a hip. I've had one hypnosis session.
No, you've had more than that.
Have I?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But then sometimes it's trying to pitch it for where in between your blood sugars
Oh, that is.
and you not having to work in the
Yeah, I'm a
bar.
mess, really, aren't I?
No, you're not.
Yeah,
Or you might be asked to change some beer or
yeah. We don't want that.
yeah. So
I know we're doing that.
it's a good sign. It means it's a busy pub.
Well, that's it. I mean, don't let my sister hear this, but it was a much nicer pub for me 3 years ago when it wasn't so busy.
Oh, John C.
No,
No.
actually, that's not true. There's lots of nice people coming in, but living above a busy pub is a pain in the ass.
Well, it's more the fact that you can't relax, isn't
No,
it? Because
that's kind of what I'm saying. Is
it's
that
all in the same
more
place.
beer to change, more gas to change. It's okay. It's okay. I mean, I don't get me wrong, but you know,
Yeah,
I sleep better when I'm in a hotel somewhere else
you do.
because I'm
Yeah.
not constantly thinking and you get cooled downstairs.
But then that just proves, doesn't it, that you can have a good night's sleep all the way through because of the environment. So
Yeah,
that's why it's so important to look at what I'm saying about the little changes, your environment, the things you're doing.
yeah,
Notice what you're doing, what you're thinking, how many hours, you know, stop eating by 8 o'clock.
mm.
Well, really, by, you know, then go to bed at midnight, that kind of thing. Or if you're going to go to bed at 10, you want to have your last meal at 6, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
Just weigh it all up. Maybe have a bigger meal at lunchtime than you do in the evening, and
yeah,
then your body's had more time
yeah,
to digest it.
yeah,
Things like having a lot of citrus can actually irritate your bladder and make you want to get up in the night. So really thinking about what you're drinking, eating, looking at it all
yeah,
holistically, our whole
yeah.
body.
We get there in the end.
And the last thing I'll say about it is that if you are lose, trying to lose weight and you find that you're holding on, you've kind of plateaued,
Yeah,
look at your sleep pattern and work on that because having a good night's sleep will help you shift the weight that you want to shift because that cortisol and that melatonin will balance out, which will help another chemical called a ghrelin, which will help you lose weight. So it's balancing all your hormones
yeah.
and your chemicals like the cortisol and the melatonin, which the melatonin helps activate the ghrelin, which helps you lose the weight that you don't need to keep, the fat part.
Mm.
So are you ready for a good night's sleep, Jonty?
Well, we'll go downstairs again in a minute.
Oh,
Yeah.
after
Yes,
that.
yes. Yeah, I'm going to have a good night's sleep.
Good, good. All right then.
All right then.
Yeah, well, I'm Charlotte Phillips, clinical hypnotherapist. What is your story, hypnotherapy?
I'm Jonty Newbury, landlord of the Duke of York up in Salisbury.
And this is I Can Cope Method, all about sleep, this episode. So take care, do subscribe and follow and share. Bye for now.
Bye bye. Bye bye.